Hi, my name's Evan, and for my 20% time, I learned piano. I actually didn't take any lessons. I tried to teach myself through various resources such as the internet. I got a lot of guides from the internet. I also had Eli Westmoreland, who is our concert composer, or concert pianist, come in and explain some of the more technical stuff to me. The reason I got into piano was because I've always had friends who have been able to play, and I've always kind of been inspired by that, and I've always wanted to get into playing an instrument. And although I've been in choir for a couple of years, I thought another great way to learn, another great way to create things is by learning an instrument. And so I chose piano because although it is one of the harder instruments to learn and master, it's very rewarding and there's a lot of room to create. So when teaching myself, I taught myself in 4 different ways. The first way I taught was going through theory, pretty much. And by theory, I mean learning how, what notes mean. What, the difference. First I learned, a scale, which is a whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And so it would be steps up the scale on the piano. And I also learned the notes and where different notes are. Like this is an A, this is a B, C, D, E, F, G, and back to A. And then from there I learned how to play the major chords. And so for example, a major C is this. Major A is this. Then we'll go major F. Let's do a major G. So that's how I pick things. That's initially how I started learning. From there, I learned up the treble clef and up the bass clef. I learned E, G, B, D, F, and G, B, D, A, F. Or no, G, D, B, F, A. And so I picked those things up initially, and then I started practicing, getting used to where notes were, practicing transitioning between chords. So my favorite one I would do was a C, B, A. And although it sounds kind of it was always one of my favorites, so I would go. It was always one of my favorite ones to practice. The next thing I did was, from help with Eli, I learned how to read sheet music. I learned how to pick up music and figure out where different key signatures are, different time signatures, and then taking those notes and reading how to play the music. And so, for example, a song we've done in choir, it's actually our senior song, is called When I Grow Up. It's from the Matilda musical. And throughout my process, this has been one of the songs I've learned because it is one of the more simpler chord progression songs, but it's an F and an A, so we're going to spell it out, F, A, and then you take that and you alternate that between C. And so it'll be like this. So that was the basics of what I've learned sheet music, but I've been able to go through sheet music and understand exactly where notes are and what the key signatures, like a flat or a sharp, understand what those mean and how those affect the notes. The next thing I've done was learning music that I like. And so I will go usually on the internet, and it helps me a lot to watch tutorial videos of how to play songs. Although anybody can do this and it's not really a great teaching skill, it's something that I really enjoyed. It's made it a lot more fun for me to do. I cannot think of anything off the top of my head, but I've gone through lots of popular songs, and I've learned how to play those songs through watching the videos and then understanding, of course, also reading sheet music. And that's another thing I like to do. And the last thing I like to do is I like to compose music. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not a professional. I've only been doing this for a couple months. But I've already kind of started understanding different progressions and different ways music sounds between a major key and a minor key. And so I've really enjoyed learning how to put things together and how things sound with my ear and how good things can sound. So I want to explain. I'm going to do a major key and a minor key demonstration. I'm going to do one set of things in the major, and it's actually, you've already heard, it's When I Grow Up. I'm going to play that in major, but then I'm also going to play something that I pieced together, and that's in a minor chord. So here we go. All right, so to demonstrate the difference between a major key and a minor key and songs played in both keys, I'm going to do a demonstration of the difference between a major and a minor. And so the first song I'm going to play is in the major, and it's from When I Grow Up, or it's from Matilda the musical. It's called When I Grow Up, and I played it earlier, but you're going to hear it again, so here we go. That. And then here's something that I put together. Now it's more of a progression rather than as an actual song, but I'm going to start right here. Ready? And so the difference between a major key and a minor key, on top of sounding completely different, is usually feelings associated with either keys can be discerned by the sound. So, for example, in a major key, the music is going to sound happier. It's going to be. But instead, when you play a song in a minor key, it usually sounds, for lack of a better word, sad. It sounds a little darker, honestly, especially when you get a full octave. It sounds darker. Okay, and some techniques I've picked up include inverting chords. It's one of the newer ones I've learned. It is where you would take like a normal chord, so let's play a G just for fun, because it's one of my favorite ones. I'll play it down here. It's actually an A, sorry. Here's a G. All right, and so when you invert a chord, you're going to take your third finger, which was the finger that would play the D, play the third finger, right here, and then you move your thumb to where the third finger was, skip 2 whole steps, or I guess 2 white keys, play a G, and then you play a B. And so if you do this right, it should sound like this. And from there, you do the same thing again. Place your thumb where the third one would be, or where your third finger would be, which would be an A. Skip 2, which would put your index finger on the D, and then put your ring finger, which is how I play, put my ring finger on the F. And so all together, it'll sound like this. I'll do the same thing, and I'm actually back. Once I do that, I'm actually back to my original chord. So I'll start right here. I'll play it. And I'm end up back at the G. That's one of the neater techniques I've found, especially in composing. It's really important that you are able to express yourself a little bit and play around with the piano and play around with the keys and see what sounds good. A lot of what I've learned has honestly been through experimentation. It's been through learning, and I'm very glad I picked this up as a project because I feel like I've grown as a person. Thank you.